Hey everyone, how's it going? Cloud here, and welcome to my guide on the Missing My Mummy quest. Now, for this quest you need the following requirements. So you must have completed these quests: the Golem, Ichklar and his Little Helper, Diamond in the Rough, Stolen Hearts, Gertrude's Cat, and the Restless Ghost quest. And if you want to fully complete the quest, which I recommend you doing first playthrough with, you also need the Garden of Tranquility and the Creature of Frankenstein. As for skill requirements, you need a level 35 construction, cooking, crafting, magic and prayer, and you need to be able to kill creatures that vary from level 42 to 70. And again, for full completion, however I recommend you have them out of the way now, you'll need 25 thieving, 45 crafting, 45 prayer and 50 magic. So that's it for the requirements. Now on to the items. So you're going to need 1 willow log, 20 fire runes, a jug of wine, some spice, some wheat which can be picked near the quest start point, so don't worry about that one too much, and an empty pot. You will also need a ring of Charos activated, a kharid flyer which can be obtained from the Leaflet Dropper, which is just north of the kharid mine. You're also going to need a squirk juice. I'll write a bit of detail about how to get those in the video description. And obviously you'll need some weapon, armour and food to fight against the different enemies throughout this quest. So like I said at the beginning, this quest can be completed in 2 stages. You can partially complete the quest to get the minimum reward, but to fully complete the quest you'll need additional requirements and items, which I have listed, but it's also needed to be able to start other future quests. So what I would really recommend doing is not bothering with this quest until you have all the requirements and items in order to fully complete it. And for the purpose of this guide, I'm going to be talking through it as if you have all those available requirements. So if you don't have those, you may wish to sort of come back once you've got those levels and then carry on with this guide. So that's it for the requirements and items. Now onto the quest starting point. So we're currently at the Drainer Village Lodestone, which can be accessed via the Lodestone network, and the quest starting point is by heading to Drainer Village and sort of going off at a tangent near the wheat field, and we're going to look for a woman called Leela, and we need to speak to her to start the quest. So once you approach her, you need to talk to Leela, and she'll tell you about an ancient kind of pyramid that is situated near Uza, and according to her the tomb is inhabited by a pharaoh queen, and Leela wants you to go and gather more information on the queen. So to get to the pyramid, first off we're going to teleport to kharid Lodestone via the Lodestone network. Once you arrive, you then want to start heading south towards Shantae Pass. When you arrive at Shantae Pass, you then want to choose the magic carpet ride, which is just near to you, and get it to take you to the ruins of Uza. And then once you're there, if you start heading south, you should then reach the large pyramid, which is where we need to head. So once you arrive at the pyramid, you want to go inside, and we now need to explore all the rooms and rummage through all the skeletons. They'll each rise up and turn into a level 42 skeleton looter, which will become aggressive, and killing each one of them will provide different items, which you may choose to pick up. However, there are some specific items we're looking for. So the main item we require is called the Scroll of the Dead, but there's also other items that we can acquire which will save time later on, so I recommend you obtain all of these at the moment. So to do this you want to go into each room and basically killing any of the skeleton looters until you acquire all the following items. So you'll need the Scroll of the Dead, a canopic jar, a pyramid journal and a mummy hand. Now near some parts of this room, for example the northeast, there's a wall trap which you can deactivate by searching the odd markings, otherwise you'll take damage from it. However, if you do fail to disable it you will still take damage. So you want to go and head towards the Golem remains, which is in the eastern cavern, and it will reveal that there is a curse upon the pyramid, which all the creatures who loot the tomb will be bound to it. So before we head back to Leela, you would have noticed there's some other items on the ground, such as ration boxes and tatty bags. Now they're not needed to complete the quest, however it's helpful if you investigate them so you can confront Ali Morrisane later, which is required to fully complete the quest. So what I recommend doing is just going around the room one more time and investigating all the different items. So you've got useless ration boxes, tatty bag, defective spades, shattered axes, suboptimal lantern and suboptimal flask. And that will just help with a step a little bit later on. So once you've done that, we now need to return to Leela, so we're going to teleport back to the Drainer Village Lodestone via the Lodestone network and then head to where we were at the beginning of the quest. So once you're back, talk to Leela, who mentions that the mummy was split up as part of a burial ritual and the tomb was frequently raided. Therefore, you must now reconstruct the queen to at least 75% of her original self. However, for the purpose of this guide, we're going to focus on restoring it to 100%, so you're able to then carry on with the sequel quests. So after having spoken to Leela about all the 4 items that you've obtained from the looters, you'll now be able to make both spiced wine and a pot of wheat required for the revival of the queen. So to make the wine, you need to use the spice on your jug of wine, and to make the pot of wheat, simply use the wheat on an empty pot. So what we need to do now, we're going to head to Kharid and go confront Ali Morrisane about those items we found earlier. So once again, teleport to the Kharid Lodestone via the Lodestone network. Once you arrive in Kharid, we're going to head this direction here until you see Ali Morrisane, and you want to talk to him about the defective items you found in the pyramid. He will explain that he sent the bandit looters to get treasure from the pyramid, but they return with just documents which no one can persuade them to give away. So you want to give him any of these squirk juice that you should have obtained before this quest in exchange for a copied name papyrus. You'll receive the usual thieving experience you would get from Osman. And now once again, what you then need to do is equip your ring of Charos activated and persuade him to give you the original document, which is called the Mummy's Name Papyrus, and you find out that the Queen's true name is Senlitan. Now just make sure you have obtained both the copied name papyrus and the Mummy's Name Papyrus, as you'll need this to fully complete the quest. Now talk to him again about the tomb, and the documents that he had obtained from the looters have been sold off to various buyers, most prominently Reldo, the Varrock Palace librarian. So what we need to do now, making sure obviously you've got a leaflet from earlier on, we're going to now head to Varrock Lodestone via the Lodestone network. If you don't have a leaflet, you want to head north of the Kharid mining site and speak to the Leaflet Dropper to get one. So either way, once you're at the Varrock Lodestone, you want to keep heading north all the way into Varrock Palace, and then you want to go into the very northern room of Varrock Palace to find Reldo, and I'll speak to you in a moment. So once you find Reldo, speak to him and he'll tell you that he did buy some scrolls of Ali, but they're incomplete, and he promises to hand over the originals once he has to copy the complete form. He also says that Ali is cleaning the papyrus and reusing them as flyers. Give him an Kharid flyer, to which he notices that he's been using a cheap cleaning agent and that the text can still be used for copying. After he's done this, you will then receive a scroll of praise. So now we have these items, we're going to head to the pyramid and just make sure you've got all the other items that I listed at the beginning of the quest. Of course, you're also going to need your combat gear, food and weapon, but also make sure you have got full prayer points, otherwise you may need to make several trips later on. So you want to return to the pyramid how we did in the first place, by going to Kharid, then Shanty Pass, then using the travel merchant to get to the ruins of Uza, and then head south from there. And I'll speak to you once you're back in the pyramid. So once you're back in the pyramid, you want to head northwest and open the door to where you saw the golem remains earlier, and you want to talk to the golem guard at the stairs. He will keep saying halt and prevent you entry into the Pharaoh's Queen tomb, so you'll have to kill him. Now it's a fairly low level, so you shouldn't have much difficulty against him. Obviously just use the relevant food and that if you need to. So you then want to descend to the lower level, and there are level 42 small scarabs wandering around that are aggressive despite your combat level, although they are quite inaccurate, so you shouldn't take much damage. Now you don't want to head directly south yet. What you need to do is go down each passage to the west and the east to collect the canopic jars and the mummy with no hands. You then want to use the mummy hand on the mummy you've just obtained, which will put it together, reforming the Senlitan's mummy. So once you have the jars and the mummy, you want to enter the central chamber and you'll find yourself a floor puzzle. The puzzle is different for every player and changes with each visit. Now the idea is, as you step on one of these tiles, other ones will move around and you can take quite a lot of damage from this. But the easiest way to get through this puzzle is to find a path of blue and green blocks or red and yellow blocks, as this will result in no damage. So what you need to do really is sort of make your camera zoom out so you can see the ideal path of either blue and green blocks or red and yellow. However, one thing to bear in mind, you can't travel diagonally, you can only go north, east, south and west, so just bear that in mind before choosing the correct path. But like I said, as long as you stick to blue and green blocks and red and yellow blocks, you should make it to the other side without taking any damage. So you want to check progress by using the Pyramid Journal or the Scroll of the Dead by right clicking on either, and you need to revive various parts of Sen Litten in order to restore the temple. However, in this instance we're going to aim for 100%. So you can do these in any order you like. Obviously the order I'm going to list here might be different to what I'm showing in the video, but I'll go through it all anyway. So for body, you need to place all 4 canopic jars onto the empty shelves to the west, and that will grant you 4% completion for each. And you also need to replace the mummy by clicking on the sarcophagus, which will give you 8% completion. For spirit, you need to pray at each of the broken statues to restore them. Restoring each statue drains between 0 to 200 prayer points and restores 4% completion for each one. For Shadow, you need to go into the Eastern Chamber and kill the level 42 Tumekan Shadow. What you'll then need to do is then light 4 of the enchanted sconces by using the 5 fire runes as fuel for each one. Each time you relight one of the lights, the shadow will reappear again with a slightly stronger combat level, and you need to re-kill it before you then light the next one, and you need to do it in the following order: south, north, west and east. Once you've done that for all those and relit all the candles or sconces, whatever you want to call them, it will be then restored. For the next stage, you want to go back in the main room and repair the table and the chair. You need to replace the spice wine and pot of wheat by clicking on their respective positions near the sarcophagus. You then want to create the statue by using the willow log on the empty statue base. You then want to click on the statue to carve it and then click on it again to improve it. You should then see the mummy queen standing near the base of her sarcophagus, and you can now give her her name and personality. For the name, you need to give her both the copied name Papyrus and the mummy's name Papyrus to the Pharaoh Queen to make her remember her full name. And then for personality, you need to give her the Scroll of Praise to the Pharaoh Queen, and she'll remember who she was. After going through some dialogue with the Queen, you should now have gained 100% completion by doing all those following things, and you can go back to speak to Leela to finish the quest. If you check your progress and it's not showing as 100%, you've obviously not done one of those various parts correctly, so it might be worth you retracing your steps just to find out how to get back to 100% completion. But either way, head back to Leela to finish the quest. So once you've returned to Leela and spoken to her, she'll thank you and it'll come up, "Congratulations, you completed the Missing My Mummy quest. You're awarded 1 quest point, 5,000 coins, 7,000 constitution experience, access to the Amascut altar in the Pharaoh's Queen burial chamber, which gives you extra prayer points at the cost of some life points, 2 treasure hunter keys and 2 hearts of ice, and you also would have got the following rewards while completing the mummy in the pyramid: 2,100 cooking and construction experience, 5,000 magic, 6,500 prayer, 3,350 crafting and 3,000 thieving. So overall, pretty easy quest. Like I said, you only need to get to 75% to partially finish the quest, but you won't obtain all the full rewards, and also you need to have fully completed this quest to 100% in order to do the Curse of Arrav quest, which is the sequel, and also the Do No Evil quest. So I would really just recommend waiting until you have all the relevant requirements and items before doing this quest, otherwise you're just going to have to come back at a later point. I don't think you'll run into any problems following my guide. However, if you do get stuck at all, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll help you out as best as I can. If not, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, favourite, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. Cheers guys, bye bye.